Yo, what's up, people of YouTube? So it's Croxon here, bringing you an anime review today. Now, this is going to be sort of part 2 of Sword Art Online. I did part 1 in early November, when the first, I guess, sort of season ended. So, season 2, or part 2, I don't know exactly what you would consider it, focuses in a whole new video game called Alfheim Online. Well, basically, in this world, it's kind of like the magic version of Sword Art Online. So in here, the main goal is magic. So everybody is divided into, I think it was 6 different races, maybe 7. I can't remember exactly. And they all have like specific campsites around this new world. And they can all fly. Like that's the new thing here, is that they can all fly. Um, So when we first get into season 2, we have Kirito, who is, we found out his real name's Kazuto. He's confused because Asuna actually didn't come back. Now, this actually was not something like boom right there, because about 300 people did not make it out of Sword Art Online, and nobody knows where they're at. So what happened was is that the main, I guess, villain of this season, whose name is Nobuyuki Sugo, um, kind of stole the servers from Sword Art Online and made it into his game, which is Alfheim Online. Now, Kirito was a little nervous because Asuna was not waking up until somebody found out that she was in this game. Uh, Basically, the whole main goal of the game was to go into this thing called the World Tree and then climb all the way to the top, where you would be deemed worthy by the king to be able to fly infinitely, because you can fly but for a limited time. So that was the whole point of the game, is to be able to go up the tree and then sort of become a higher species or whatever. And the biggest problem was that nobody could actually get up. So what this group of people did is that they made a line and they would fly up, and then one guy would push the one on top of him up, which would push the next guy up and the next person, and then just keep going in a straight line. And somebody actually made a picture, was able to get a picture of someone in a cage, which looked like Asuna. So Kirito, Kazuto, I guess, decides to go in the game. Um, Little does he know, his sister plays the game. Sugu actually became, sort of obsessed with how her brother, why her brother loved these games so much. So she decided to try it out, and she actually got the new version of the Nerve Gear, which is it's not like a big helmet on your head. It's more like a little little goggles, or not goggles, I should say. It's like Cyclops from the X-Men. It's just this little thing right here that goes around your eyes. And she's actually, in the game, and it gets kind of confusing throughout the whole season, because we find out that Sugu is not actually the sister of Kazuto. They're actually cousins, and it gets even weirder because she starts falling in love with Kirito, and since he loves Asuna, she actually just like, damn, you could see that she's upset, because he sees the way he looks at Asuna in the hospital. So she starts falling in love with Kirito in the game without knowing that it's her brother until near the end of the season, when he says that he's gonna find Asuna, and then so she gets frustrated because she fell in love with her cousin in the real world, knowing that she couldn't have him, so she decided to fall in love with this character in the game, which turned out to be him. So she was like just like double slapped, and I was like, damn. Also, on a side note, the freaking guy, Nobuyuki, he's a freaking creep. Like, he's like in his 30s or early 40s, I don't even know, and he's freaking trying to rape a 14. Wait, how old was Asuna? I can't even remember. I think she was 14 or 16 or I don't even know. Let me see. Trying to find out. Nope, doesn't even say. That's a freak. Yep, we don't know. So yeah. But I figured she's like around 16 or something. That's pretty creepy. Like, that's just wrong. He literally, like, trash talks Kirito because in the real world, Kirito's not really strong. I mean, in the game, he's a freaking badass, but in the real world, he's like a weak little guy, you know, he can't do much. So he says, you know, he can get away with anything. And he's actually, since he's the creator of the game, he's actually the king of the world, so he's actually the king that's supposed to be at the top of the tree. And he's always, like, he's trying to win Asuna, but it's not working because she loves Kirito, right? And so it looks like he's about to, like, do bad things to her. You know, he's literally, like touching her inappropriately. And, but he says, you know what, I'm not going to spoil myself. I'm gonna make sure that you fall in love with me soon. So he keeps her locked in the cage. She actually ends up escaping at one point, but then she gets, like, thrown back in. And it's not until, like, Kirito and, you know, Sugu get there, you know, they actually decide to work together. They go inside the World Trade, so they're in the base level now. And Kirito's actually just goes in by himself because Sugu's in, like, this depression state right now. And it sucks because there's like a billion enemies, like, just like flying in, and Kirito can't do it. Sugu actually makes it in, like, just in time to save him. I mean, he kind of died, but the good thing about Alfheim is that you don't actually die in real life like you do. You can actually log out. You can do everything right, you know, like an actual functioning game. So when you die, there's actually like this little orb thing that stays floating behind, and Sugu was able to revive him. And so I decided to wait until they had enough big army so they can go in. Little did they know is that when they actually succeed in Kirito actually making it to the top, to where he could actually go into the next stage, or the next floor, it's locked. It's locked by a, you know, damn it, I forget. Hold on. You know, it's by the, shit, damn. Can't even remember. Basically, it's locked by the game. You cannot enter unless you have access. So Yui actually is the one that was able to, you know, kind of enter, you know, help Kirito actually go in, because she technically was a program, which allowed her to, you know, open the door, which made it even more confusing to why the game even had a purpose. So they actually were able to rescue Asuna, but the douchebag, you know, Mr. What's-His-Face, ugly guy, he actually, like, intervenes, and he, like, shows up out of nowhere, and you're like, oh my gosh. So, I mean, you kind of, I don't know, like, I liked when the other guy was, you know, the bad guy. I don't even remember these characters' names. It's, like, been, like, Akihiko, you know, Kayaba, basically. I'm just gonna call him that. The creator of Sword Art. Like, I liked him because he incorporated himself into the game. Like, he actually played the game, and he didn't act like freaking ruler. He didn't think of himself as a god. He actually just thought he showed off, and he's like, hey, I'm better than all of you. He looked like a cocky player, but this other douchebag just comes in and saying, no, he's the god of the world, you can't kill him. So, he actually, he actually literally started, like, it was sort of like the beginning of raping of Asuna, and Kirito was getting pissed, and he was actually, like, trapped because he was stabbed in the floor. But what happens is that Kayaba kind of gives him access with his code, because this is the servers of Sword Art Online, so he technically is still the one that controls everything. So Kirito gets access, so he was able to, undermine, like, everything. Like, he was able to take his sword out, he was able to be just he gave the douche, he gave This is really bad. Nobody is. I'm just gonna call him by his last name, Sugo. It's a lot easier to say. He gave him the strongest weapon in the freaking game, and Kirito was just there with his sword, and he like, I don't know, like that was a hack. I'm not even joking. Like that was cheating in like every way possible. He just like, he lowers down, like there's a pain level, right? There's 10 levels. The lower it is, the more damage it does, and then the lower, like it's if it, blah, blah, I can't even talk. If it's below 3, it actually does physical damage to your actual physical body. So freaking Kirito lowers it all the way to level 0 and just starts slashing away at the, and I'm like, dude, freaking rape right there. Like that's just wrong. How he's just destroying this guy and he can't even do anything. And then so he ends up rescuing Asuna. He lets her out, and then Kaiba actually gives him a world seed. Like, he gives him a new seed, which is supposed to create a new world. And so Kirito makes it out, and then he's about to, he's going to the hospital to find Asuna. And Sugo is right there, like, he's freaking psychotic. You actually see his face, he's all beat up and stuff, and I'm like, wow, you took a real beating. And then, like, since Kirito feels weaker in the real world, he actually thought he was gonna die because he came at him with a knife, and he freaking reverses. I don't even know like how he did it, but he just ends up doing it anyways. And like he's like, you better back off, because I might not be as strong as I am as in the game, but I am still stronger than you, and I can destroy you. And I'm like, whoa, freaking boss right there. He's acting like I don't know, but and then he ends up beating Asuna. The first thing they do is make out. I was like, you just seen each other. You need to communicate first before. I don't know, but it was an emotional, time. So I guess I'll give it to them. And then they created, the World Seed again. They actually used it, and they basically connected every single online game that was like that and like, so you can like transfer over into a different worlds with your character. Kirito actually stayed in his Alpha Online version. I actually would have liked it if he had turned back into Sword Art Online character, because it was really cool. He had more skills. He looked like a freaking badass. But regardless, they actually brought the freaking tower from Sword Art Online into Alpha Online, and then they were gonna pass it completely the right way. So I don't know. I mean, it looked like a good season. I really doubt that they're gonna come out with season 3, because it's just been happening too often nowadays. So I don't know. Like, I would enjoy it if they made a season 3, because I know that there is more story after this. So I don't know. I mean, I hope. I can only hope. But yeah. So I really like this series. I'm not gonna admit it. I still do prefer Sword Art Online Season 1 to Season 2, just because I didn't have to deal with the creep. Sugo was just creepy to me. I didn't not like him as a villain. Like, I mean, he played the role of villain, quite well, but he was just way too creepy for me. I liked Kayaba a lot better, just because he actually incorporated himself into the game. He didn't make any cheating tactics, except for the fact that he couldn't beat him. So yeah, thanks for watching this review. Let me know what you think of Sword Art Online Season 2, or just as a whole series in general. I still think Kirito is a freaking hack, but whatever. I always had a kind of love-hate situation with him. I love the fact that he was freaking badass, but I hated the fact that it was because he was cheating. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Let me know what you think. I would like a season 3, but I really doubt that it's gonna happen. So we'll just have to see. So yeah, this has been Source Croxton with Sword Art Online Season Review number 2, or Season 2 review. But thanks for watching, and don't forget to comment. Video responses always welcome. Just remember that you're always welcome. So thanks for watching. See you guys later.